And we are live for the 103rd Saturday morning stand up where we talk Splinterlands here on this channel. Yep, more than 2 years of talking Splinterlands on Saturday morning. So, welcome and thanks for dropping by. As I always like to say, I always appreciate the time you spend with me. Right up front, I do want to give a shout out to my members for supporting the channel. Jason B, Cerezi, Watch More, Blind Mage, Gathering the Magic, and KGM Jam. Appreciate it. Okay, lots of things going on for me this week. It's been all about land in Splinterlands. I also have been playing RavenQuest a lot as well, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. In Splinterlands, I've been making a lot of changes to my land. I put out a few episodes, 2 episodes over the last week and a half since 1.75 went live, and I am basically just stretching to make funds to beef up my lands a little bit. I've largely changed what I've been doing with the lands, meaning that I shut down my SPS production and I shut down my research, although they are trying to make a use case for research. They've been talking about it. Cryptomancer's been talking about, there's a good use case coming up for it. Either way, I shut those 2 down, but because in my mind currently, it would just be too expensive. So, and obviously I changed things around to growing grain, but I do have assorted plots, doing the other new materials. This just happens to be up because Archmage just played a match for me. Currently, you know what I'm doing is I'm burning down my energy. Archmage's playing in Wild for me. And then tomorrow, the last day of the season, I'm going to switch over and do the new types of battles. So I can burn through my cards on the last day. I think I won this. Yeah, I won this. I got this. I like this card. I don't think it gets a lot of props, but the Dampfear Infiltrator, I think it's a pretty strong card. In other words, on the last day of the season, I think a lot of people are going to try out survival mode because guess what? I mean, you're pretty much where you are in the season unless you're competing for the leaderboard. I think that, why not do some survival matches on the last day of the season because everything resets next season, right? So that's pretty much where I've been, and I dropped an episode last night, went live for most people. It went live for members last night, and then earlier today talked about some changes. I basically bought my 20th plot this week as well, which I need to go ahead and get up and running, but I decided that I'm going to do a totally different episode on that because, if you're playing the land game, there's several steps in there. And I kind of wanted to do an episode for people that are new to the game and might be thinking about getting into the lane game. We will be giving away some SPS later in the episode, so there's that if you want to stick around for that. Let's see who is on. Alex B says, can't stay, but wanted to come around and give you a thumbs up. Well, thanks a lot. Don't know if you're still on because that was a few minutes before we went live. Crypto Beaver's here. Good morning. I saw your comments on my video earlier this morning. Good points. Rubensky is here. Welcome. Says like number 3. Crypto Beaver says he's been mainly working on his land this week, adding resources to the market hub, renting cards to fill empty slots on my plots. Yeah, I got that new plot, and I also went in and I've been adding a few cards to fill out the other plots that I have that are still relatively new. I mean, I went through a series of where I made videos probably more than a year ago, right? Where I got all my other plots up and running and fully staked out. These are my plots. Like I said, I got 20. I've got 4 in Veritas. I've got 4 2, 3. I've got 5 in Tostrington, and I've got the rest in Ravenwood. I will say that in my areas, in my regions, the price has really been keeping up on the plot as far as prices per plot. And, you know, just dipping my toes into the production in that last video, and there was some good comments as far as the liquidity pools go, and the one interesting comment I got was, be careful if you're putting into liquidity pools right up front, because remember impermanent loss. And now I'm not a investor of any sort. I'm not telling you what to do or nothing like this, you know. I'm just trying it out from a game perspective just to see what happened. You know, I've got like 700,000 grain in the liquidity pool that's been around for quite a while, and I've been slowly adding to it. And it's really netted me nothing. In that video I showed, I've earned like 5 cents off of it, really. So not much. And I've put a little bit into wood and iron liquidity pool in this last video, and I don't know if I'm necessarily going to keep doing that. Am I going to go at it from a dollar cost average kind of point of view, put a little bit in over time, and then kind of average out the impermanent loss that comes with it? And once again, I'm not a pro on this. I do understand the basics of impermanent loss, and I would suggest that if you're thinking about getting into the liquidity pools, at least read up on it and understand what's the possibility. Now, right up front, it probably is going to net you more money just by selling your resources outright. That's just my brief take on it. But, you know, there's the other side of it. You know, getting into the liquidity pool, you're also supporting the game a little bit. So I looked at the leaders, obviously the rankings, the leaders in almost every area is some of the top guys. So exactly who you would think of. See what everybody else is saying. Rubinsky says land management, setting up cards for rent, buying more max level rewards cards. Yeah, the cards, you know, I hate that term FOMO, but the cards have really went up. Let's take a look over, not Splinter Forge. Let's go over here on Peak Monsters. I was looking at land earlier. Let's go to the card market. Now, I have been primarily using Chaos Legion gold foils, okay? And at first, I have a lot of flying squids, and a lot of my land is grain producing, so it is going to use either earth or water cards, okay? So if you go in and you look at the bulk buy, the max level of a common water card, the squid, is $16.99, so just under $17. Now, I can tell you from experience, because I started buying these whenever I was staking out the majority of my land back, I want to say more than a year ago, these things were about $5 for a max gold foil common. Okay, so you can see the movement in that. I mean, and just recently, I mean, they've went up over time, right? But it's a lot of that movement has been just recently. And also recently, I've switched over to getting single BCX epic gold foils, and their prices have gone up as well. So I think that a lot of this is people, I don't know. I mean, one side of the coin is fear of missing out, or FOMO, right? The other side of the coin is use case, because there are more use cases for them, so people are buying them. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Paul Taylor's in the house. Welcome, Paul. Thanks for dropping by. The Jetto's here. Sup? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in this fine world. Thanks for dropping by. Enigma Code's here. Thanks for coming. And Wibbles in the house with the Wii. Got an occupied plot yesterday. Oops. Check your LP fees earned. Wood and stuff much better than grain at the moment. We can look at them. I figure that because they would be expensive. Oh, another. I upped the amount of times my Archmage is playing just so I can burn through the energy I have to be ready for tomorrow to click it over. Let's see here. I guess Archmage picked my hand to go with Izzyar, Franz, backed up. Love Olivia. Sola, and Jin Renova, which I've been picking up some Jin Renova gold foils to use on one of my lands in number 1. So I don't know. This looks like a pretty strong game both ways. Let's go ahead and just see who wins. But yeah, as far as picking up an occupied plot, that's a very divisive subject right now. I mean, you can buy. One argument is, are you finding? Did you find a good deal on the occupied plot? Because currently, I've stopped mining SPS, and currently that's what occupied plots are good for because they get a bonus on mining SPS, right? And I know at one time it looks like I'm going to get beat here. Even with Olivia flexing. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I've lost. One point about this is the Regal Periton, and it is only a rare, but I have a much, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but this is just kind of card talk. I have a much better percentage of winning when I'm playing Earth, if I include the Regal Periton for some reason. And right up front, it doesn't look like an extremely strong card, but I just have much better win average. Okay, so obviously I didn't win that one. This last one, I've been getting pretty good, decent winnings, 5.2 SPS and almost 1,000 glint on that last win. Not been too bad, but I've been trying to burn through my extra energy today for tomorrow going into survival mode. But anyway, I guess my point was until let's look at SPS. I did buy my usual SPS this week, and I've kind of approached it, not kind of, it's just basically dollar cost averaging, where I'm not one of those guys that goes in hardcore and buys a bunch because my timing is always terrible, right? So I figured it's better off just to kind of average and buy a little bit of SPS, and I've been buying a little bit of DEC as well. I've been making DEC over on, let's pull this up, SPL Trader, if you're familiar with that. So I've been making, I don't know, a few hundred DEC a day invested in the Splinterlands Trader. It's a bot that buys and sells cards and then splits the DEC it makes depending upon how much you have in the pool. I have 170K currently, and I'm getting 2.2%, but that's doing pretty good. Rubinsky kicking in with the super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Helps to keep the channel moving. The Jetto says it's more profitable to get natural resources versus SPS or research at the moment. That's what I'm thinking. It's getting closer and closer, though. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're just waiting for, and I got to kick this back over to land. We're waiting for, let's go into the trade hub, the pools to kind of average out a little bit more, get more of the other materials into play. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot. I mean, look, people have tons and tons of grain so far, but apparently people are going through it, right? 65,000 worth of grain in the grain pool. But, and this is just what I'm showing my markets. Let's go to all markets. Almost 3,000 in the wood pool, 3,600 in the stone pool, and 4,100 in the iron pool, with I think the iron being worth more. I don't have any in the stone pool because I'm not producing any stone currently, and I'm just frankly producing minimal wood and iron. I do have I think the best land plot I have personally is, let's just go to the list, is I have one epic caldera. And I picked that up back in the day, I don't know, more than a year ago because there was a good deal on it and somebody was dumping it. So I picked it up and I produced grain on it for a while until the 1.75. Now it's producing ore. And I have it staked out pretty well. This has got all common gold foil max cards, each one producing 3,300. And then I do have a totem on it. I could probably increase that totem if I wanted. But I've been more looking at the grain production, and I'm doing good in most of my regions. The one where I'm kind of close on is this region, and that's frankly why I picked up that extra land. I just need to get it up and running and producing some grain, because I'm kind of close on the grain produced. That's how I'm standing. Wibble says, trying to get one occupied for every 4 or 5 magic plots for elemental food for land 2.0. Figured people offloading them now, SPS mining is not so good. Yeah, I mean, like, to my point, if you can pick up a deal on those, yeah, I'd go for it, right? If I found a deal for those, let's look at for sale. And then, well, let's go over to, I hate to say it, but I prefer the user interface of Peak Monsters to the actual game. I hate to say it, but let's go to land. And then let's go to Wibble's point, occupied, and see what they're going for. So, you know, we have the low-end commons. We're looking at 58, 59 bucks. They go up pretty rapidly. I imagine, hey, there's Gathering the Magic. Good morning. I imagine he's going to put out a land watch. Is that this week? Is land watch next week, Gathering? I don't know. Either way, keep an eye on that because, you know, I don't know. I haven't been watching them enough to tell you if this is a good deal. I do know that if you can pick up one that's already got a building on it, but as far as, that's like a future down the road kind of bet. Because if you pick up, occupied plots have been relatively expensive since they come out, and sometimes they've been really expensive, right? But at this point in time, it's cheaper to me to just buy SPS, right? If you're invested in the game. And that's what I've been doing, right? And I switched over away from doing research and SPS currently, but I'm not against switching back to mining SPS if it becomes more profitable, because at the time, it's just too expensive to me. Now, I understand the other side of the coin is that people who maintained mining SPS are getting a larger share of the pool because there are fewer people mining from that pool, right? I understand that. But what I want to hear is somebody who's doing it tell me how much you're spending in resources versus how much you're making on a daily basis. And if it's worth it, then no arguments, right? Apparently it should be, and it all hinges on SPS going up in value, right? Which hinges on getting more players in the game, right? So it's kind of this looping argument, right? Good morning, Gathering. Thanks for dropping by. Says good morning to all. Been working on land and a new item that Bronze Dragon knows about. Yes, I do. Jason B. Channel's in the house. Welcome and greetings, Earthling. Gathering says, we'll be super busy this weekend with Splinterlands. Nice. This is no surprise, me kind of talking about a lot about land. If you've been around my channel for quite a while, you know that I was hyped on land when it was first being worked on, but then we kind of got into a lull where there wasn't much going on and we were just claiming and everything. So I switched over to talk about cards and things like that. You know what? This is like super not interesting really, I guess. But one card I did max out, which interestingly enough had not been maxed out. which is a lowly card, but a card that really comes in handy in a lot of positions, in a lot of matches, okay? So we are talking about the Zenith Archer. I was watching this match that the Archmage was playing on my account, and it used the Zenith Archer, but my Archer was only at level 6. And at level 6, it's 2 damage, 3 speed, and 4 health. Well, you kick it up to level 8, and you gain a speed and a health. So that's my big card purchase this week. I did purchase some cards, some gold foils to put on, some gold foil epics to put on land, but this was my main play purchase this week. I know, not exciting, but a card that's come in handy in a lot of different situations. So just figured I'd mention that. KGM Jams in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Gathering says the card watch is this weekend, so the land watch will be next weekend. Gathering says not many land plots under $30. I guess it just depends upon what you're looking for, right? We have the commons right now. You can pick up commons for $14, $15. It just depends upon where you want to go. Now, here's the argument. If you want them with, if you just want grain producing, check this out. Grain producing plots have went up from like the $12, $13 range up to around $20. Now, these do have buildings in them. And then if you want the land that has work sites built on them already, then they go up to $30. So, like I said, it just depends upon what you're looking for. I talk about this once in a while in my videos, and I like to mention it, especially, I know most of you who tune in have been playing Splinterlands for quite a while, but in the off case that hopefully we attract a few new players here and there, if you're a new player and wanting to get into the land game, if you're looking for a piece of property and you can find a land that has an actual work site built on it already, and it is within, $5 to $10 of a non-staked out or a land that doesn't have anything on it, like there's nothing in the details, then it's worth paying an extra $5 to $10 for that land because it already has the work site built on it, okay? That represents, there's several steps in there, and the use of DEC and time crystals, which basically ends up being more money. So it's worth it to go ahead, and it's for us who've been playing for a while, I'm sure you all can agree with me that if you can find the land you want and it already has a work site on it that you want, and it has some of these other details like building in a box and unstable totem and everything like that, that's just even a better deal. So just putting that out there for people who are looking for deals. But I think it all just comes down to exactly what you're looking for. Me, I've been looking for a lot of grain producing. Once I get that stabilized, then maybe I'll look for other stuff. But I kind of want to be able to make enough grain to not only sell some extra to make a little bit of DEC on the side, but also subsidize the other, my other plots that are making, ore and wood. In this case, I don't have any that are producing stone. Gathering says 40 plots under $30, most in region 85. I've got to say that it just depends upon the region. Because I'll tell you what, the land in the regions that I'm in is really holding value. So let's look. I'm in 3 different regions, and I'm trying to just stay where I am because if I branch out into another region, what I don't want to get into a situation is having to transport grain and stuff to other regions because there's too much tax involved and everything like that. I just want to be self-sufficient kind of within the same region so I don't have to pay those inter-region taxes and everything, transport fees rather, whatever they are. I think that my opinion is I'm paying enough taxes as it is whenever you do each harvest and everything like that. That I don't want to, I want to reduce the amount of taxes and everything. And to that I know I'm kind of going off, but I'm talking about the whole topic of reducing fees. I want to bring this up. I think it was, who was it? Was it Wibble? Or was it Beaver? I think it was Beaver. Either way, pointed out something I should have done in my video earlier. And whenever I was in Trade Hub, okay, you can pick what you want to do. In my case, what I was doing was I was selling grain for DEC. But what they brought up is to reduce your slippage fee from 2.5 to 0.5, which is the minimum, which hopefully would save you money. So I wanted to put that out there. I don't know if that'll make the trade take longer. Who knows? But next time I do it, I am going to do that and theoretically make more money on the deal. So I just wanted to put that out there. But looking at this, no, what I wanted to look at was for sale. So just taking this #1 region, which interestingly enough is where I started out. I had a plot way back in the day when I turned it over and it was like a common or something like that. And then I bought a bunch of plots over on the other side of the map. And then I sold that in one because I didn't want to be over there all by itself. And then I ended up buying more plots over in one because I found good deals on them. So, but my point here is, look, you know, the minimum we're looking at in #1 is $60. $60 for a common. Then you find this rarity, $65 for a rare, for a forest. But then you look at 65 and then it quickly goes up to $150. Now, a lot of these are people just, you know, hoping for what they're going to get. But the same thing applies over in another zone I'm in, which is Tossington 114. Let's look for sale. So there's very few plots in 114 for sale. The minimum is a common for $50. Then the rest go up to $130, right? And all the way up to $300. So, yeah, it really just depends upon where you're at and what type of land you're looking for. There are still deals around. And in fact, I'm very tempted by some of the deals on a daily basis. So yeah, I've got too many tabs open. Let's clear this. But like I said, you know, and here's another thing. You know, I don't know who Jesterago is. I remember it was this person used to be a big name, but I haven't heard much from them lately. And it looks like they're selling off a bunch of stuff. And this was put up a day or 2 days ago. But I had just noticed that yesterday. But, you know, look at this. You've got hills, jungle, forest. If you're in there for that, most of these produce stone and wood. $14 with building in the box, you know. So looks like Jesterago's selling off their land. Either way, I think it just depends upon where you want to get into. I used to be of the opinion that it really strongly, you know, the argument is still out there. You know, there's a lot more. Somebody mentioned this earlier about Land 2.0 and the production of the magical food resources being the reason why, who was that, Wibble? Yeah, I think it was Wibble. Why they're buying the occupied plots. Yeah, there's more to that, and we haven't talked about that in quite a while because, you know, it hasn't come to fruition. They haven't even talked about that. So that is basically making investment choices on the white paper, which you hope that they go ahead and follow. So if you're not aware, grain is just the base way to feed your workers on your land, right? Now, in the future, there is going to be magical food that you can produce, and it's a multi-step process because you have to have several different types of land, several different types of buildings to go ahead and produce it. But there'll be a separate food for each type, like, you know, if you're producing grain or if you're producing stone or whatever, and that food will be much more efficient at feeding your characters. So, or your production, whatever you want to call them, your cards. So, okay, let's jump back into chat. Rubinsky says, I'm glad I bought a tract when I did, still paying off the debt monthly. Oh, really? Yeah, keep us up to date on how that's going. You know, I'm a small-time landholder compared to somebody who bought a large chunk of land. And also, you know, I don't own a castle or a keep. So it's interesting when I hear people kick in some info about, you know, different perspectives on the game and, you know, how everything's going by. Bolts85 is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Wibble says, wasn't me, but I'm also a beaver. Win beaver. Haven't done my collection yet today, so still have a little bit of SPS and SPS and DEC pool, which I collect on a daily basis, but it doesn't amount to much of anything. I'm approaching that 150,000 SPS mark, so it's taken a while, and it's taken a number of, you know, investments on a weekly basis. I didn't even see where, you know, speaking of that, we need to give away some SPS. In the chat, type hashtag SPS to the moon if you want to get in on the drawing for 100 SPS. Hashtag SPS to the moon. Okay. Get the trusty wheel of names here. My Financial Journey's in the house. Welcome. Just in time. We are getting ready to give away some SPS. Type hashtag SPS to the moon to get your name in the drawing. Eros SL, a new name. Welcome. I always like to see when new people stop by. King Cobra is here. And KGM Jam. Okay. Blind Mage is here. Welcome. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day. Bolts85, always producing good content as well. There's been a good discussion between the content creators and the new COO of Splinterlands. I'm very encouraged. Started a channel where everybody's discussing ideas about basically doing videos and everybody's take on doing videos and their type of coverage of Splinterlands. I'm very encouraged by the interaction finally with the team and talking about how we do things and how it would help the game out and trying to get on the same page, in other words, and come up with some good ideas how Splinterlands is going to treat and work with creators going forward. Chanta Nest, welcome to the channel. Paul Taylor, of course. Spring Victory Studio says, have you joined a guild in RavenQuest? Not yet. That's on my list. You know what was on my list this week? Trying to get my first ship, and I finally did. And I want to do a little video on the quest progression to actually get your first ship because it was a little bit confusing to me. Jason B. and the Jetto get on the list. Okay, wrapping it up. One more time, give it another minute. If you want to get your name in the drawing for some SPS, 100 SPS being given away, type hashtag SPS to the moon. Because that's what we hope it will do. Or at least 10 cents. I'd be happy with 10 cents. But What video was I watching earlier? I was watching, let me go over just kind of a sidetrack here. I was watching a well, it was a recorded live stream. Watch me, I'm not going to be able to find it. And of course I can't find it. Anyway, the point I guess I want to make is that now it's completely escaped my mind. Okay, let's just get back to the drawing. Crypto Beaver. Bolt85 says, what I am thinking of, what will be better for my Conclave Arcana collection? Alchemy packs or legendary packs? I'm going to buy a little bit of all, to tell you the truth. I was you know, the legendary packs are going for what the equivalent, if DEC is at peg, of $25. Right now, they would be about, what, $22, something like that, with a guaranteed legendary in it. So if, you know, using the current math of what the, you know, the currently what they would be available, about a legendary worth about $15, $16, something like that. If you didn't get anything else good in the pack, you'd probably be giving up a little bit of money, but you always have the possibility. It's a bet, right? It's a gamble, right? You always have that possibility of getting a gold foil or getting more than your legendary in the pack. Say, for instance, you get 2 legendaries, then you've just doubled your money, right? So, okay, let's go ahead and do this drawing. Forever hold your peace if you're not in the drawing. Let's do a couple shuffles and spin. See who wins the 100 SPS this week. And it is Supreme Victory Studios. Congratulations. What is your Hive name? What is your in-game name, Supreme? Let me know, and I will send it right over. Gathering says, did the last 2 people ever claim the Chaos Packs from the giveaway? One of them did, and one of them didn't. Let me go back. I'm referencing the video live stream from 2 weeks ago in which we gave them away. I know, I'm terribly prepared today. Sorry. It's one of those days. I'm just going back. Let's see here. Okay, Enigma Code claimed their packs, but My Financial Journey did not. So My Financial Journey, if you are live here, let me know what your in-game name is, and I'll send you the packs. Otherwise, they are going to Gathering the Magic. Okay, so Supreme's in-game name is iBlast, so let's send them over 100 SPS. And as always, I appreciate you dropping by on a weekly basis. There we go. Well, My Financial Journey is claiming the packs, I guess. Yeah, I had announced it on the last couple chains, and I even put it into the chat of the the stream before last. Okay. So let's see here. My financial journeys is Smithers 113 in game. I think I played you yesterday. So let's go to open and Smithers 113, 20 packs. Okay, there you go. And that finalizes, finally, the 100 packs I gave away for my 100th episode of this show, which took more than 2 years since it's like just on Saturday, right? Appreciate everybody stopping by, though. We generally have a good crowd and a good discussion about Splinterlands. Gathering says, I think legendary cards will be way overprinted. Oh, really? 500,000 legendary packs means about 20,000 of each legendary. Yeah, that. And of course, it depends upon how many people actually buy. Okay. So they may be overprinted, but if nobody buys them, you know, if only half of them are bought. So what you're basically saying is you think there'll be more legendaries in, more liquid legendaries, so to speak, than in Rebellion. I hadn't heard that. So just because they print the packs doesn't mean people are going to buy them. At $25 a pack, they're a lot more expensive than your standard pack, right? Gathering says, I wonder if the dollar packs will be worth it. I like them. I think it's a good way to fill in your low end, your commons and rares. I wouldn't go overboard with them because I think that if you buy regular packs, you're always going to get a certain amount of commons and rares anyway to fill it in. So I wouldn't use the dollar packs to completely max out common and rares unless you also use those cards, like, say, for instance, you get some gold foils or something or other, use those on land, maybe side case. The dollar packs, you can't get gold foils. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's too expensive to use commons and regular foil commons and rares on land. But, you know, we're getting into a situation where the liquidity of cards is going down. People are buying up the stuff that has good production points on it. And like I said, the cost of Chaos Legion gold foils, which were the primary target for land, has just really doubled and tripled and quadrupled in a lot of cases. So we'll see. Bolt85 says, Gathering Magic says there is going to be lots of printed legends, so can't go wrong with alchemy packs. Gathering, of course, loves his gold foils. I like them on land. I mean, they give you good value in playing. It's just that you are looking at the game in a different way than a lot of people look. You know, you like your gold foils from the aspect of a person that is not maxing out their cards. You know, from a person that's going to play in the top of the silver to gold range, and you only have to buy a few copies. Once you get and you try to max out a gold foil, it gets really expensive. I'm just sticking that in there. Bolts85 says, I heard someone on X say gold matters. Oh, as far as the who's at the top on the markets. I forget where I saw that. Here we go, rankings. This is what I was looking at. So it's all the common, and these take a while to load up. But I was looking at who is at the top of production. I'm at 436 and it's Vugtus. With research. And it's Vuctus with iron. Gathering says, I put in over 100,000 DEC into Splinter Trader a couple days ago. Going well. How are you liking it so far? And actually, Vuctus is number 2 on Stone. Housewife for the win is number 1. Let me get my spreadsheet to load here. I was going to do a whole separate video on this, but this is what... I haven't looked at it in a few days, but I've been basically making a few hundred DEC a day on it. And that's with, you know, I had put 150,000 into it, and I've made like 19,000 DEC on it so far. I wanted to make a whole separate video on it, so it's been working out pretty well for me. I have this thing where I didn't want to do a video and tell people about a new tool that I just heard about without experiencing myself and having some numbers to back up and talk about it. Because one of the primary things about my channel when I talk about it is I don't want people to ever think that I'm giving them financial advice, because I can say, hey, play it as a game. If you want to earn a little bit of DEC, do this, but I didn't want to get into it and say, do this. People put their DEC into it and then get the rug pulled, right? So I still need to make a video about it. It's going pretty well, though. I'm on the wrong page. Okay, and then under wood. So Vuctus is pretty much at the top of everything except for stone, which is housewife. Just waiting for this to load. Yeah, Vuctus. Vuctus is hardcore into land and production, that's for sure. Gathering says there will be more CA legendary cards than Rebellion. Rebellion legendary cards moving up in price. Yeah. Supreme says, what is the ETA on CA? As far as I know, May. April, May, yeah. As far as I know, as far as I've heard, the pre-sale goes in April, and then we should see the cards in May, right? Haven't heard anything different. If anybody knows different, let me know. Gathering says, a site where they buy, sell Splinterlands cards off the market and share the profits. Yeah. Splinter Trader is you can stake some SPS directly out of your account on Splinterlands, and then they have a bot that buys cards on the market and then resells them, and then whatever's made on the sale, then you get a percentage of that sale depending upon your percent of the overall pool. So that's what that is. And it popped up a couple months ago. I just didn't want to go out and immediately do a video about it and then have the rug pulled if a rug pull was going to happen. So I've been making some DEC with it. It's not making me rich, but it's making me more than what a lot of the lands are making currently. So Gathering goes on to say 40% of the profit goes to the team and 60% is divided amongst those who stake it. Yeah, some of it does go to pay for the actual bot and the team who made it. It all depends on how many cards they buy, sell daily. Some days are higher than others. Yeah, it has a wide swing and fluctuates. You can buy and sell cards there as well. Yeah, it has the actual bot you can use to sell, buy and sell cards. So if you want to set certain parameters, like if you want to, hey, I'm interested in this card, but I want to buy, it's like a stock trader, bot. You can set your limits when you want to buy and sell, and do it with cards. So you can use it for that feature as well. I have not done it, and I don't have any experience with that. And frankly, I don't have a lot of experience with stock trader bots either, although I hear my brother talking about it all the time. And Gathering says that he may do a video on the Splinter Trader as well. Gathering says, everything I talk about is for fun, financial advice only. Paul Taylor says, which plot do you not have up and running? It's the plot I bought the day before last, and it's over in Ravenwood. It's most of the plots I've found deals on, Paul. I've tried to find plots that already had have already been built out and had a building on them, right? Or production facility, whatever you want to call it. I know they're technically not the buildings in the in run, but I found this, and it was not a great deal, but it was a rare river, and it can produce grain, and I needed more grain production in this area, so I grabbed this. It's currently got nothing on it, so I need to build that out and figure out what I'm going to do with it. And get that up and running. Although I am in okay situation, I did add a few. If you watch my video from yesterday that went live today this morning, which, hey, if you become a member of the channel, little spot here, you get to see my videos 12 hours early. Anyway, so I added some cards. I've got a few plots. You can see there's a wood and 2 grain plots I have in this region that are not fully staked out. The rest are, but I'm gradually working on those. Like, let's go into this. And I fully, I've got everything here, but what I'm going to do, this whole situation is single foil or single BCX gold foil epics. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and combine, I think, how many? I think it takes 3. Let's look at epics, and let's look at gold foils. So, okay, so it takes 2. What I'm going to do is combine 2 and then add another 1 BCX and keep combining them over time until and then logically speaking, then I have to stake extra DEC to account for that, but my production points go up. The problem with this is these gold foil epics are just getting rare, or not rare, but they're getting more expensive. So let's go to Chaos Legion. Let's just click on Chaos Legion. So like this wave root I was using on it, the liquidity, not only are they getting more expensive, but the liquidity is going down. Look at this. I mean, very few wave roots left on the market. So I may have to go ahead and alter my strategy. But interesting nonetheless. Beaker's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Bolts85 says, I may do a video on the show. Your cans energy drink. Oh, that is. Well, unexciting. Same thing. Sparkling ice energy. Mango, maximum mango. I bought a whole case. I buy these by the 12 pack just to save a little bit of money. Beaker says your land plots have expanded nicely, already 20. Yeah, it was kind of bugging me being at 19 and not the round number of 20, so I went ahead and bought an extra one yesterday, or day before yesterday. Gathering says, glad to be a member. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. But wait, Chaos Legion is so overprinted, so where are all the gold foils? Well, my guess is they're working land. Or, yeah, I think that's the best use case. I was going to say survival, which is another use case, right? But, yeah, my best guess is that they are on working people's land, because we've been talking about them for a while. Let's switch over to gold foil and Chaos Legion. Yeah, anybody that's been watching these, it's been more than a year, but like I said, I used some lava spiders. I have a few mountains, which I used some lava spiders on. And let's look at the bulk buy. Yeah, all these $15 to $20 common gold foils for max level, I'm talking. you know, a year ago they were in the $4 to $6 range. That just gives you some idea of the movement on them. And let's look at rares. I didn't use a lot of rares. I do have some rares on land. I do have some mycelic infantry. Look at that. $51 for a max level mycelic infantry. And then, of course, the epics we're talking about now. Like I've used Hunter Jarks, and it's also, not only is the liquidity of the cards going way down, there's fewer cards to choose from, which is also causing the price on the cards to go up because there's a good use case for them now, right? But there's just fewer to choose from, and if you're newer coming to the game and you wanted to get some gold foil, it's just prohibitively expensive to me. But if you're playing land, you know, you need the production points, right? So Rubinsky asks about chaos packs, asset market. They are going up, you know. Look here, Chaos Legion packs. We have 62 cents today. When's the last time you saw Chaos Legion packs over 50 cents? Well, now they are. And I think it's getting to the point because in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, should I continue to buy gold foils, or should I just buy a bunch of packs and just open them and hope for some gold foils, right? And then use what's in the packs on the land. That was something I thought about, and I might still do it, right? The last Chaos Legion packs I bought was those 100 to give away a couple of weeks ago. But everything's pretty much going up. I mean, Chaos Legion, Rebellion. Rebellion sitting at $4.54 a pack. I didn't do a whole lot of investment into Rebellion, but I am looking forward to Conclave Arcana, which is a little bit hard to say. Of course, totems are going up as well. You know, I was buying, whenever I bought all my common totems for my land, I was buying them for about $6. Now they're going for 14.5. So I think the next rare totem I'm going to do is, I have some fragments. I'm going to have to buy a few more fragments to make a rare totem, and then I'll put it on that that new land I have. So that needs to be built and staked out. Beaker says, not on my land. Tide, the 1 BCX gold epic strategy still becomes pricey. Yeah. Gathering says, has Cryptomancer said what the next land update will focus on? No, he hasn't announced 1.8 or 2. I think if you've been looking at land, you kind of know what's kind of going in the future. We just don't know what's going to come up next. And in fact, the last thing I saw him say, I'm not on the Land Baron channel or whatever, but I saw somebody else cross-posting and said that he's talking with Matt on what his next priorities should be. I imagine they'll talk about it in the next town hall, but I haven't heard it announced yet. It will be land, though, and Matt was very straight up about that because other people were saying, hey, pull him off land and help him, let him work on other things. Well, he's employed by the DAO, you know, and the DAO vote can say what he works on, but presently he's employed by the DAO to work on land. So until that changes, and I'm guessing until there's a vote that says he should do something else, which is, as a person, it would be kind of weird to be in that situation, right? But I would think from a perspective of a guy working on it, he's got in and he's got his feet in and he's taken the time to get up and running and become acquainted with the whole infrastructure of how land works and improve upon it and release, develop and release 1.75. It would be foolish to pull him off of that, because that would be like training up a person to do one thing and then you're like, okay, here, go do this, go do something else. You know, I think he's in land and he needs to stay in land. That's my opinion. Beaker says something that has to do with items for Conclave Arcana, I thought. The last thing I heard him say was they're working and discussing some kind of use case that ties in to use research for. Because obviously they saw people stopping all their research, so they want to bring people back on board with research because that's a huge use of these new materials that we're producing, right? So they're going to put out there that this is just me talking, you know, from an advertising perspective. They saw everybody quitting doing the research. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people quitting doing the research. So they want to put out some, hey, don't worry, we've got a good use case coming up for research, which we want, right? Because a lot of us have been doing research all along, up to, you know, 1.75, and we want something good to use that for, something interesting, something fun in the game, right? And, you know, months and months and months and years back when, Matt went all in and did a lot of hype training on doing the research. So, you know, we're looking for something to use it for. So that's the last thing I heard him talk about. Gathering says common gold foil chaos were 13 cents to 17 cents forever ago. Now 40 cents. Yeah, they're easily 2-3 times what they were, you know. Gathering and Beaker go on to discuss some land. Can't wait to do the market research, market watch tomorrow. If you guys didn't know, Gathering switches weeks. One weekend he'll do market watch, and one weekend he'll do the land watch and card watch, and talk about cards one weekend and talk about land the other weekend. So if you want to keep up on things, it's a good way to check it out. Check out his channel, and he has a good mindset as far as he's been doing it for quite a while, so he can talk about what the market is doing. So I always like watching those. Beaker says, nice. Just got my 15 plots self-sustainable with 2 resource plots. Nice. Bolts85 says, time to sell your tofu for packs. I don't have a tofu. I wish I had already got one early on. It's just one of those cards that's way out of my price range. Gathering says, trying to use Splinter Trader to build up some more DEC for... yeah, I had originally bought all that DEC I have in Splinter Trader for Conclave Arcana packs, you know. So once we get the pre-sale, I'm probably going to pull some out. We'll see how it goes. But I have been dollar cost averaging into DEC as well. Once again, not putting a huge amount in all at once, but a little bit here and there. So, okay, it's after the bottom of the hour. I'm a little bit over, but I want to say thank you, everybody, for joining me. As always, I appreciate the time you spend with me. And, you know, keep an eye on my channel as I drop videos. I'm covering Splinterlands on a weekly basis. I'm covering Atlas Earth on a weekly basis. And also I'm going to be dropping new videos here and there about RavenQuest, which is a cool game on a different blockchain, but definitely worth looking at. And if you want to get in and play RavenQuest, use my referral code in the show notes. But this has been Bronze Dragon. I hope everyone has a great week coming up. And next weekend, we will be having a show, but on that Sunday, I will be going to the Cherry Blossom Festival up here in Philly. So either way, hope everyone has a great day, and I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. This has been Bronze Dragon. Hey, I'll see you in the land within Splinterlands.